Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Friday, October 31st. Happy Halloween, everyone. Yeah, happy Halloween, everyone. It's crazy. This year is flying by so quickly. I just realized today's Halloween, and that today's Friday. So yeah, guys, today, good morning, everybody. It looks like people are still making their way in. Today, again, is Friday, October 31st. Happy Halloween, everyone. 6:25 right now. We got market opening up shortly in about 5 minutes. Just doing some behind the scenes work right here, so I'm kind of a little all over the place. Um, with regard to what I'm currently looking at, so we got the trades over here listed. We have a lot of trades around six. We only have two trades around seven. So you guys can see over here, the algo is really starting to adapt with the market. So if you look at the trades that I put up yesterday, if you guys are here part of the premium, you guys can see over here there was like a balanced amount of trades yesterday between six and seven. But for today, there's like a lot of them right here around six. Looks like a couple of trades here that weren't showing up prior are, obviously now showing. And the ones around seven, a lot of these kind of just fell off. Like the 751 that we typically take, that one's kind of fallen off because it's not as high of a win rate, which is perfectly fine. We like to see this. We want to see the algo adapt with the market. Also because we are entering a new month, right? So with the new month, we're basing a lot of our data off the October month with regard to statistics. So this is exciting stuff because we're going to see what happens here as we enter a new month. We've done one full month of trading the algo, um, and it's been great. This whole month has been great. If you guys are part of the premium, um, you guys found some really good trades over this whole week too. So if you guys are not part of the premium, I mean, you guys are kind of missing out on a lot of stuff here because look over here at the premium chat. So I forget who Duggo is, but basically Duggo, I forget who Duggo's real name is, but Doug over here found all these entries over here for ES, which is pretty crazy because I didn't give these trades out. Duggo just looked at them themselves, and they basically won almost every trade. I think they had only two losses. So they had one, two, three, four, seven trades here. So I think Duggo found like 11 trades here for ES last night during like Asia session. And looking at this over here, they pretty much won every trade. So, we had a couple questions for people who were asking if, this algo can be used on different assets. And this is just a clear example right here because I don't trade ES, so I don't even know what to look for with regard to statistics. But Doug over here found these and pretty much won majority of the trades, I believe. I think there was only like two losing trades, but because of the increased volatility, if the volatility and the stop losses moved a little bit wider, it would have been all wins. That's a lot of wins, guys. 11 wins for ES uh, between like, a 4 hour period, which is pretty nice. So yeah, if you guys are part of the premium, guys, make sure to look over here under the premium chat or under algo. Jonathan over here, he also found all of these entries here for gold, and he won all of them pretty much like 5 out of 5, it looks like. So great work, guys, using the algo to your own advantage. Um, yeah, it makes me want to try to use the algo as well for ES and for gold because I'm using it for YM and it's great for YM, but it looks like it's working really good for ES and gold as well. So let's see what's here so far. Morning, Jonathan. Morning, Lila. Morning, Barack. Morning, Maria. Morning, everybody. Looks like people are still making their way, but for the most part, um, we are ready to kick this off. So let's see. Sam, hey Sam, good morning. Sam has a joke here. Let me read this real quick. Sam said, "Why don't ghosts go to therapy? Because they don't like being transparent." True, true, true. No, that's a good one. No, Sam. Yeah, happy Halloween, guys. So, guys, today is October 31st. Happy Halloween, everyone. It is 6:29. We got market opening up in about 30 seconds. Looking over here at the breakout on open, if you guys are looking to take it, it's going to be a sell, it looks like. So if you guys want to take that breakout right there, it's going to be a sell. If you guys want to take the breakout for the algo over here, it's going to actually be a buy. So if you want to take the algo over here, it's going to be a buy entry for the breakout on open. We got market opening up shortly in about 10 minutes, and we'll see what happens here as market opens up. Hey Mendez, morning. Morning, Jesus. Karen said, morning, happy Halloween. Happy first Halloween, little trader. I know it's gonna be our first Halloween. All right, guys. So the entry over here came up with momentum over here. So it just kind of depends on which direction you guys wanted to take it. If you guys wanted to take it for a sell, like I said, the breakout on open here would have been a sell. It already hit full TP right there, or it's still running actually. So it's running right here. It's on its way down to, so if you did 40-20, full TP already. If you guys did 50-50, also full TP. Or if you guys want to go for the bigger move, you could have went for the bigger move as well for the 80-40. So up to you guys, however you guys want to take this breakout on open. For me personally, I don't take the breakout on open. Too much manipulation there. The first entry that I'm probably going to be looking at, actually, so we have an entry coming up right here at 639, but it's not a target entry. So we don't really have a target entry until 646. So I'm just going to line these up here. 39, 42, 46, 53, and 54. So my first target entry is not until 646. And that's probably what I'm going to look at, but I think there's news. Yeah, Nikki just mentioned there's news today. MSC's morning. Barack is asking what the 10-minute looks like. The 10-minute it was a sell signal. Yes, it was supposed to be a sell regardless. So sell on the 10 minutes, sell on the 1 minute. The 50-50 already hit right there. I mean, if you're going for the 40-80, it's still currently running, but the 50-50 hit and the 40-20 hit right there as well. All right, so the next entry that's coming up is going to be at 639. Not exactly one that I'm looking to take, but I will pull it up for you guys here. We'll take a look at the overall analysis as well. I just kind of have an idea of like what to look for. And then also I'll clean this up. I'm just going to put one line there. So we're not all, it's not a messy market. So let's check the news real quick because Nikki did mention there's news today. So there is news at 6:45, guys. We have Chicago PMI. This is inflation news. So that's going to be a problem because our entry is going to be at 646. So obviously I'm probably not going to get into that one. The first entry that I'm probably going to maybe look to take is going to be the 654. That's going to be the closest one. All right, so let's take a look at here. Let's just jump ahead. So Maria was asking, why didn't you consider 642 as an entry target? So let's go and check that out first, Maria. Um, okay, so I'm not going to pull up the actual statistics. I'm just going to pull it up. The thing with the 642 is this is actually one that I'm looking to maybe get into because it was really, really close. I remember this entry. It was really close. And then on top of that, it has a 3 out of 3 wins for Fridays. So let's actually pull up the statistics because I would like to see and explain in detail. This one was a really, really close entry. It didn't reach the threshold of 65, I believe. But let's do the math. Okay, so 642 right here. This is with momentum, right? All right, so it's with momentum. You know what? I think this entry actually should be one to take, Maria. My numbers here are off. I just realized. Here, let me just re-edit this, guys. Sorry, I think the numbers here are just they're not correct. Um, I don't know why the numbers here are wrong. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I see why they're wrong here. Let me go back. Never mind. Put that back. For some reason, it only shows 14 trades here. I don't know why. I'm gonna leave it as is. I'm pretty sure I did it correctly, but let me just make sure. 5263. Okay, I think this is correct here now. Okay, so looking at the statistics over here, Let me add this up. So the overall statistics for the 642 entry, it has a probability of 52.63. So it's just a 2.63 edge overall. It won 10 out of the previous 19 entries. Looking over here at the buys, it has a 71.43 probability of it winning for buys. It won 5 out of the previous sell entry or buy entries. We're not going to look at the sells because it's shorter. It's only a 41% probability, so it's too low. But let's do the math here. So 42.63, or sorry, 52.63 plus 71.43. That's 124.06 total probability right there divided by 200. So it's not high enough, Maria. So it's at 62.03. This is why it wasn't a target entry. But then on top of that, we do have news at 6:45 as well. So in order for it to be a target entry, it has to be above 65. So yeah, unfortunately, it does not meet the criteria. But the reason why I was thinking about maybe taking it, like for it to be a possibility, is because it won 3 out of the 3 recent Fridays. So let's go over here to the historical data. Last Friday was October 24th. So on October 24th, it went over here for a buy position. The Friday before that was October 17th. It went over here for a sell position. And the Friday before that was October 10th. So October 10th over here, it also won for a buy position. So with that being the case, this trade wins pretty often on Fridays. So if you guys want to take the position, I mean, feel free to take it at your own risk. Again, it just doesn't meet my criteria. I have a very strict criteria for it to be a target entry. I mean, we'll see how market is moving. If market starts to move pretty nice, maybe I'll jump into the position, right? But again, I've made my decision for the most part not to take it. So the odds are I'm probably not going to take it because I'm going to go off whatever I've kind of listed from the previous night. I do all the heavy lifting the night before, as you guys know. I do all the work the night before. I do all my research, back testing, forward testing, uh, background research with regard to historical data, previous trading days, the probabilities in total. And I make that decision the night before, so I don't have to think today. Today it's just execution, guys. So like with the algo, you guys have to remember, you're not really doing any work when it comes down to the actual trading. You've done the work the night before, and once we get to the actual trading, you're just trading. It's just executing the trades. Enter or don't enter. So that is how it works there. So we got the first entry coming up right here at 6:39. It's not a target entry for me, and market here is also going sideways, guys. So there's like two things here pointing to not take this trade. If you guys want to take the trade again, it's at your own risk, right? This trade has a 52.63 probability of it winning overall for buys and for sells. It has a 70% probability for sells, so it's not a horrible trade if you're going to take a sell. However, it lost zero. It pretty much won 0 out of the 3 Fridays. So it lost every single Friday for the past 3 Fridays. That kind of points you towards, okay, maybe I shouldn't take this trade because it doesn't have a nice probability of it winning on Fridays, right? And then on top of that, the market here is going sideways. So if you're going with momentum, it just doesn't line up properly, right? It just doesn't line up properly. So yeah, this here is for me personally, it's just not going to be a good trade. If you guys want to take it, it's going to line up though. So looking at this here, the sell looks like it's going to come up. Let's take a look at the overall trend real quick before we get started. So looking over here at the overall trend, the 1 minute's currently bearish. You can see prices below the pivots. The trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down. This indicates a bearish trend. The 5 minute is more on the bearish neutral side. 15 minute is on the neutral side. Prices in between the pivots. The trend meter is turning red. It's going sideways. The 30 minutes bearish. 1 hour is bearish, and the 4 hour is bullish. So it's pretty mixed. It's a bullish. It's just neutral right now because the lower time frames are a little bit bearish and neutral, and the higher time frames are bearish and bullish. So with that being the case, there's not really a one-sided direction here. Looking over here at market structure, it's a little mixed as well. The 1 minute and 5 minute are bearish, 15 minutes bullish, 30 minutes neutral, 1 hour, 4 hour bullish. So with that being the case, we don't really have much of a direction here. There's not a bias at all if you're looking at technicals. Um, I mean, it's short term, it's going to be bearish, of course, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to hold, right? So if you guys want to take this position right here, this is going to be possible entry for a sell. Again, market here is choppy. You don't really want to trade these types of entries when the market's choppy because everything here is based off momentum. If there's no momentum, there's just no entry there, right? So, all right, if you guys want to take this position, feel free. If you guys want to sit out on it, I'm going to sit out on it. It's not a target entry for me, so it's not one that I'm looking to take. But again, if you guys want to take it, I will mark it up for you guys here. The trade is currently running. It's in profit. I mean, it looks fine. It's just if price ends up chopping within this area, this is actually good because it's going to come back and fill this big green candle, and it'll probably come down and hit its target, right? So trade's running right there. This is the 639 entry. Next one's at 642 in about 2 minutes. Trade's running right there. Again, this trade's based off statistics and it's based off the quantitative data. No technical analysis used there and full TP. So it went straight to its target. So like I said, it doesn't really matter if like I mean it matters if you want to base it off the probabilities, but it doesn't really matter because the algo over here gave us the probabilities and it showed that it would hit for a sell and it did, right? Let's do the math real quick. 52.63 plus 70 divided by 200. So this right here had a 61.3% probability of it winning. So you basically had like a 12-point edge here. So the edge wasn't horrible. I mean, the edge was there. It just wasn't like a great edge. Like typically I need above a 65 for me to take the trade. It's above a 60 for it to be on the list and above a 65 for me to actually want to take it. Because I'm looking for those the trade with the highest probability of it hitting, of course, right? Because I don't care for the okay entries. I want the good entries. I want the good entries that I feel comfortable with. So yeah, there goes that there. If you guys are looking for the next one's going to be over here at 642. So it's going to come up in about a minute. Let's see. Question from Justice. Justice is asking, what outside of the target entry indication do you look for on your entries? Do you have a certain criteria for the data that's pulled that makes you more likely to take it one or the other? Not really. I just need to add it up. So it just needs to add up to a total of 65% probability or higher. So that's all I really look at, Justice. Everything that I put here is relevant, right? It's not like there for no reason. It's everything there is relevant. Um, so yeah, if it's there, then that's typically what I like to look for. I don't really look at anything outside. The only thing that I look outside is like when it actually comes time for entry. If the volume and the volatility and the direction is like not really there, I don't take it because the trades are based off momentum, right? So you typically need price to be going down or you need price to be going up. You can trade in a range, but it needs to be like a pretty big range. Like this is kind of okay, but it's not what I'm looking for. Like I need a pretty nice consistent range like that. If it's just a small consolidation like this, I don't really mess with it because you can get chopped out of a position very easily. So, all right, guys, the position over here for 642 is a sell. My target over here, or not my target, but what I was aiming for would have been a buy because the probabilities aim for a buy there. But because of the entry was a sell here, this trade would have been skipped. So it would have been skipped in general. But you can see over here, the buy looks like it probably actually would have played out if we did have that buy there. So looking at this right here again, see, I was looking for a buy entry. It won pretty much three out of the three buy entries. So if this would have been taken or if it would have came up for a buy, that's the only way I would look to take this trade here. Let's see, Masij said he got four full TPs yesterday on ES, Sean, and only one loss. I'm not sure if you say the Discord, but I adjusted my analysis tool to show when momentum matters or not. Yeah, no, definitely. So, Masij, you're Duggo, right? I was trying to remember who Duggo was. I think this is you, right? Or maybe it's not you. Okay, yeah, you're Duggo. Okay. So yeah, I was earlier, I think you got on the live session a little later. I was trying to figure out who Duggo was. I remembered it was someone that obviously was you probably. But now I could put two and two together. So Duggo over here, Masij, he actually was the one that put these lists of ES trades and he got four full TPs yesterday. So he made a little bit of adjustment, of course. I think he based it off the ATR, right? Or something like that. I'll have to relook at the chat over here. But yeah, nice work. He listed all these trades here and they all pretty much hit for the most part, majority of them. And they played out perfect. So nice work, Masish. Yeah, fixed TP stop loss was not as profitable according to his program. Yeah, and that's the case, guys. If you need to use a dynamic TP stop loss based off the ATR, ideally I would use the a fixed or not a fixed. I would use a dynamic ATR like you're using. But yeah, I'm looking at this trade right here. So there goes that entry right there at 642. See, I wish I could have taken that, but the entry didn't come up for a buy. It was for a sell. So the analysis here is playing out pretty nice. I mean, if you're basing it off the probabilities, they are hitting up pretty nicely. We have another entry coming up right here at 646. Only problem with this is that we have news right here at 645, right? Let me check the news real quick. So the news was positive. I'm not going to get in right now. Market's still reacting to the news, but there is another trade coming up right here at 646. If you guys want to take it, it looks like it's going to be a buy. My target entry here is actually for a sell. Oh, actually, so if this buy signal comes up, it's actually going to come up for a sell. So this buy signal would have to close. If it does close, this 646 entry is actually going to come up as we would have wanted it to for a sell. But there's no buy signal there that closed. So the entry over here is actually going to be a buy, but it doesn't meet my criteria, right? Because I'm looking for a sell here. 646 was my target entry. It has a 57.89% probability of it winning overall, so a decent edge, 7.89 for a 1 to 2. It's one of my target entries, 75% probability wins for sells, and it won 3 out of the 3 recent Fridays. So with that being the case, I would have wanted to take a sell here, but because the sell hasn't is not going to come up, this is not going to be the entry that I'm looking to take. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait a little longer, maybe till like 654 for my entry to come up here, which is all good. It's not a big deal. I don't really, again, I'm not forcing any trades here. I'm just waiting for a good setup to really show up for me. Hey, Michael, morning. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So Masij over here did 1.2 and 1.7 for ATR is best for ES. That's good to know. Masij is asking, quick question, Sean, could you change my name of the Discord to Masij? Was not able to change it in the server profile. I can try. I'm not sure if we can change it, if I can change it. Oh, here we go. I guess I could. I've never done this before. I think this is a new. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we just changed your name right there. So your name is now Masij. So now we know who Dego is. It's Masij. So good to know. All right, just updated your name there in the your nickname in the chat, so people will see your new nickname now. Let's see, question. Let's see. Hey, Michael. Question from iPhone. iPhone's asking if the signal closes the same as entry, will that reverse it? No. So we don't count the signal on the entry. You count everything that happens before the entry. So for example, the entry over here that's coming up at, well, the 646 already came up. Here's the entry right here that I was looking to take. I wanted to take this one over here. Um, but obviously it didn't meet the criteria. Again, right here, 646, this is going to be well, we'll just skip that because we're already past it. Let's go here to 653. So basically, iPhone's question was asking if the momentum comes up on the actual setup, do we does it flip? And the answer is no. You base it off what happened before it. So for example, I'm gonna put this over here for 653. So at 653, basically, if this comes up over here, it's gonna be against momentum. So if this stays with a buy signal, then it's gonna be a sell. Even if you get a momentum on the actual 653 candle. And then vice versa, if a sell signal comes up, it's gonna be a buy. This one I'm looking for a buy here. iPhone said, it keeps changing my name back to iPhone. My name is Roosevelt. I'm a real person. Yeah. Yeah. For some reason you're like the only person with, or I mean there's there's actually a lot of iPhones here. I don't even know who you are because there's four names that are purple iPhone and you're one of them, Roosevelt. So I never know when it's you. But it's okay. I'm gonna assume it's you whenever I see someone chat and it says purple iPhone. I remember it's you. So Mendez over here is asking 654 total percentage is 57. Why is it a target entry? Because it's based off the average, Mendez. So let's see, 654. Yeah, so what we do here is we average out the overall. So overall is 57.89 plus whichever has the highest probability, right? Which is going to be buys because I'm aiming for buys. So plus 70, and then you divide that by 200, which is the total, right? It's 100 each. And the average is 63 points, or not. Actually, no, you're right. This shouldn't be a target entry. Did I do the math wrong? Oh, sorry. I did the math wrong. Okay, I was looking at the one above it. So this one over here, it's 57.89 plus 77.78. So it's 135.67 divided by 200, and it's above 65, right? So you just want it to be above 65. That's my criteria for target entry. It's got to be above 65 here. So it's 67.8. So it meets that threshold, and that's why it gets the target entry label there. If it gets above 60, it gets on the list. But in order for it to be target entry, it has to be above 65. Obviously, the higher the better, but 65 is my threshold. Yeah, no problem, Mendes. Hey, Rashida, morning. Yeah, let's see. All right, so we will see what happens next over here. Let's see. Question from Coney Poo. Coney Poo said, "Hey, new subscriber here. Could you explain if your algo is not based on technical analysis, what is the data based on? Also wondering why the day of the week is relevant to trade win rate." Um, so the thing is like, the futures markets are pretty efficient, right? What happens in the past typically happens in the future, at least on a shorter time frame, right? So like we only go back a sample of 19 trades because we want to identify what happens within here now and moving forward. So with that being the case, it's not based off technicals, it's based off my momentum. So like all of my strategies that we've been trading for years, I've been trading for 12 years now, or over 12 years, and I've been trading live for 8 years. All of our strategies have had a catalyst of momentum, right? This momentum here that shows on the chart, these green bars that go up and price goes up, and these red bars that go down and price goes down. So it's just based off the momentum and volume in the market. There's no technicals used here because we're just following the momentum, right? The way that this algo works is that it tracks momentum pretty much throughout the day for 24 hours by the minute. So every minute it tracks how momentum moves. So basically, in a sense, I have a fixed target here at 40-20, right? And what happens with this is that my algo just tracks it. So it'll keep tracking it every minute, 40-20, 40-20. 40-20. It'll tell me, does it win? Does it lose? Does it win? Does it lose? Right? It'll every time it wins, tracks a win. If it wins right there, tracks a win. If it wins right there, tracks a win. If it loses, tracks a loss. So that's how it works. The historical data is based off basically just running the same strategy over and over by the minute. And that's how we get the numbers over here because we just pull up the specific points and then we get in from when we see them, right? So that's the basic gist of like how this works with the algo. And it's not based off technicals because we don't factor in trend, we don't factor in structure, we don't factor in any of that stuff. We just factor in the quantitative data that indicates where momentum is moving. Because we're just riding the wave, right? We talked about this before. We're kind of like surfing through the market, right? We're just like going through and riding that wave. We're not necessarily looking for tops or bottoms. I mean, you can create an algo that identifies that stuff, but my algo here is strictly off momentum. So, C is asking, we're looking for a buy at 53, 54. Yes, they are both buys. So the 53 isn't my target entry. The 54 is, though. So I'm not necessarily looking at this one right here. I'll be looking for the one to follow it. So this will basically have, it's basically two entries back to back in a sense. These would be two entries back to back. So this one would be running to the upside. And I'll be looking for it to continue on this next one over here, basically another buy to follow up even further. Let me see how far this is pushed up. That's not too far. So kind of depends on how this candle here closes. If this candle here closes like a pretty strong red candle, I probably am going to sit out of it because, obviously I don't want to be against momentum. We talked about this. Ideally, I would like this to be a green candle, right? So this one over here obviously can play out. So looking at this right here, guys, I'm looking at this candle. It's a very strong red candle, right? So this indicates that, momentum might not be pushing up. So depending on how this candle here closes, the way it's looking right now, I'm not really looking to get into this at 654. I might have to wait until the 720 or 702 one trade over here. So again, if you guys want to take this trade, it's currently running right now. I was tempted to get into it, but I just didn't like how this candle here was pushing, right? Like I mentioned, there's still some discretion here when you get into the position. One thing that I didn't like as well is that the volume here was starting to die out, right? See how price started to go sideways? I don't like that because we're going with momentum, right? So looking over here, whenever it's with momentum, you want it to be going in the direction of your trade. So good thing we skipped out on that right there. That was a good call to skip out on it because the market here wasn't really going with momentum, right? We've been talking about this over and over again. This skill to be able to identify this is really difficult to acquire, right? I only know this from experience, right? I've been trading for so long that I can see where the volatility is starting to die down. The thing is, I created this indicator, this momentum indicator is mine, so I know when the momentum indicator is going to shift. And I saw right here that I saw that big red candle. I was like, okay, momentum's probably going to shift back down. And because we're looking for a buy here, it doesn't meet the criteria that I am looking at specifically. So good decision on skipping that trade right there because that trade would have lost. And let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. 702. Yeah, so like when price was, if this was against momentum, so this would have been a different story. If 54 was against momentum and we were looking for a sell, then I probably would have been okay with looking for a trade there because what I saw here was the momentum was starting to die out, right? It started to kind of fade off right here. So when it starts to fade off like that, it looks like, the momentum has kind of died out, the power to the upside's kind of died out, and it's ready for it to come back down. So that was what I was kind of looking for there. So over here at 702, so 702, this is going to be with momentum. Wait a minute. This doesn't look right. This might be against. Huh. That's unusual. The numbers here are like super, super off for 702. Oh, my bad. Thank you guys. Thanks to Thanks, Daniel. I was like confused. I was like, there's no way I'm like that off with my numbers. Okay, there we go. With momentum. The whole time zone thing always throws me off. Okay, so here we go. Here is the statistics for the entry here at 702. It's a target entry. It has a, let's see, 63.16 probability of it winning overall. So it has a pretty nice edge. It is a 13.16% probability edge for either direction, buy or sell. It won 12 out of the previous 19 entries. The buys over here, though, are very, very strong. You can see the buys here. It has an 88.89% probability of it winning. It won 8 out of the previous 9 entries. That's good. So if I want to look for this entry here at 702, it needs to be a buy entry. So in order for us to get that, we need to get a buy signal before we get closer to 702, right? So we're waiting for that buy signal to come up there in order for us to have that as an entry. Um, yeah, I mean, that's about it. It won 3 out of the 3 recent Fridays, so I will be looking to take this trade here. I just need price to push up before we get to that point. So basically over the next minute or so, I need this to actually adjust a little bit for it to go to the upside. Yeah, I need this to adjust up a little bit. So let's see where it's at. We basically need a buy signal on this next candle. If there's no buy signal, then yeah, unfortunately, no setup. We only have 2 setups here. This is gonna be it. I need to get this in somehow. All right, I think this buy signal is gonna come. You guys see the volume right here and the momentum? It's pushing up. We need to get that buy signal there to show up. Once it shows up, then great. Start looking for that buy. Possibly on this next one. So no buy signal there yet. Possibly on this next one. If we don't get this buy signal here, it's gonna cut it really close to 702. There we go. We got that pending buy signal right there. Doesn't really matter how this one closes, but we do need to have it as a buy signal. We got 2 minutes until that buy signal is no longer there. Okay, it looks like we might not get that buy signal there, guys. Again, it's fine. If the buy signal doesn't come up, we already have our setup here lined up, so we're really just waiting for that signal to come up. Well, what we had, like this whole week's been pretty choppy, if you guys have seen. Like we've had a lot of chop this week, and that's normal for the market, right? The market's going to be choppy every so often. This week was also the first week that we started having news again, right? So we haven't had news in a long time. If you guys remember, we've been in government shutdown here for about a month now. So we haven't had any NFP news, and next week is going to be NFP. So I don't know if they're going to release it this time around, or if it's still going to be delayed or canceled. But that's going to be pretty crazy to have two back-to-back months with no NFP. That's like the most important data aside from CPI and PPI, right? So we'll see. I mean, no guarantees, but we'll see. All right, we had a pending buy signal here, guys. Unfortunately, it did not close, or it looks like it's not going to close. So I don't know if we'll have this there. Craig said, "Bro, I like the mug." Yeah, it's a Hello Kitty mug. It's for my daughter. It's my daughter's mug. Yeah, I ran out of my mugs for today, so had to use hers today. It's a good, yeah. Masih said it's a good luck mug. It is because I think I was drinking out of this mug on Tuesday, right? We had a winning day on Tuesday. Yeah, Barack said money mug. Exactly. All right, guys. So 702 right here. There's no buy signal. So unfortunately, there's not going to be an entry. If you guys want to take this, it's going to be a sell. I mean, it's up to you guys if you want to take it. The probabilities aren't like horrible, but they're not super great, right? If you want to do the math for sells here, the probability is 63.16 plus 40 divided by 200. I mean, you still have an edge there. The edge is going to be 1.6. You have a 1.6% probability edge. It's 51.58. It's not great. I mean, it could happen, right? You still have an edge. Doesn't mean this here is not going to play through. It's still won 3 out of the 3 recent Fridays. So out of the previous Fridays that came up, it's still won, right? Historical data here shows that it's won just on this day specifically. Looking at this right here, you guys can see the buy signal finally came up, but it did not meet the criteria because it needed to happen before. Yeah, it needed to happen before. So unfortunately, no entry there, but we'll see here if it pushes up higher. The next and last entry is going to be here at 721. I was really hoping we'd get something here today, but I mean, obviously we'll be looking here. If it comes up, great. If it doesn't come up, I mean, I'm not going to be forcing anything here, of course, right? For 721, I'll be looking for a possible sell. So the entry right here is actually a sell if you guys are looking to take it at 702. So it's currently running in profit right there. Let's see. Craig said, I sent you a DM, bro. Feel free to share as it's my light bulb moment. Okay, full TP right here, guys, on this trade. If you guys took that 702 entry. So the algo, like I said, there's still edge for that sell there. So the algo here identified the sell and it played out perfect. So again, right here, I mean, I wasn't looking for a buy, but if you just went based off the algo by itself without like my discretion, right here, it was with momentum. We had a sell momentum right here, and the sell entry came up for a full TP. So there's been a couple good entries here. There's been basically 3 entries here which came up and they all hit full TP. So I'll go ahead and just put a list here of the algo entries for today. So there was one right here which was at 639 win for 2R. There's another one right here, which was at 642. So I mean, the entries came up I get this question a lot where people ask like, there's two ways of taking these algo entries. It's either you take every entry or you just be selective with the entries you decide to take. Um, for me, I prefer to be selective. I don't really want to take a bunch of trades. Like I don't want to take like 10 or 20 trades a day. It's just a lot of work to do that. Also, if you do that and you end up at break even, you're going to eat up a ton of commissions and fees. For me, as you guys know, I'm trading for a hedge fund that I own. So obviously I can't take, I mean, I guess technically I can take more trades, but the problem is like a lot of the clients here, not everyone has a huge bankroll, right? Like they can't risk that many trades. If I'm taking like 20 trades and they're doing the bare minimum, that's like a $2,000 risk. That's way too high for a lot of people. So I have to be a little bit selective, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind it. I prefer accuracy and quality over quantity anyway, so that's all good. But yeah, if you guys want to take every single trade, I mean, you guys could take every single trade here and see if they come up. Um, like without the discretion, right? Like let's say we'll cut off basically everything right here. So everything in like for example, if you wanted to take every entry here, all you would do is you would actually it wouldn't work because in order for you to have the probabilities, you'd have to average out, right? Like if that was the case and you didn't go off the averaged out probabilities, then or I mean technically I guess if your threshold was like 57 or something like that or 52, you basically would just look at every entry but without my extra data here, right? So there's basically going to be two traders, right? There's going to be one trader who takes the quality entries and one trader who takes every single entry. Um, Personally, I think it's going to average out to like about the same amount of profits either way. Because, if you take every single entry, you're going to have more losing days than if you were just to be more selective. Versus if you were just selective, you'd probably have less trading days, but you'll have more winning days. So it's just really up to preference, right? So like for example, if you wanted to take every single entry here, you can. You just don't look at the extra information there. You just go based off the raw statistics. So. Like, yeah, this year I have a little more information because I like to have at least some sort of bias where the probability is a little higher. But if you want to just take every single entry, you can just take every single entry here. So the entry comes up, you take it, boom, boom, boom. So for example, here there's like three entries, right? How many did we line up with? So, seven. Okay, so we had seven entries here. We had three which won. So if you were to do the math there, all entries. So here's if we were to do the math, it'd be three wins plus 6R. And then I don't know, I guess the other ones would be losses. I don't know if they would have been losses, but I'm assuming we're just going to assume that there were losses, right? So three losses, which would be negative 3R. So the total would still be, you'd still be in profit. You'd still be in profit plus 3R. So see how they kind of balance out? It doesn't really make a huge difference. I mean, if you're selective, then great. But if you're not selective, then you're still going to end up around the same. So, yeah, it just depends on what you guys want to do. For me personally, I don't like taking a lot of trades. I just don't like losing. I mean, that's kind of the thing, right? I think for me, I just have, the way that my brain is wired as a trader is that I don't like to lose too many trades. So, if you guys can stomach the loss, you guys could probably take a lot more trades and just you'll be more active in the market. But again, you got to keep in mind because you got to pay fees. You got to think about it. Like for example, I'm doing like 10 contracts, right? So 10 times and these are my fees for a normal person who's not on like a lifetime plan. So you don't multiply it by 1.29. I think that's how much it costs per contract. So every time you're entering a position, this is how much you're paying in fees, right? And then we're gonna add on like another, we'll say like another $4 for NFA fees. So basically 16 point 0.9. If you were to take 14 entries there, we'll say 14 entries, you're basically paying this much in fees. It's not a crazy amount if you're winning or if you're, profitable for the day. But if you have a losing day, this is going to be an extra tax added on to your losses. So, yeah, for me personally, I don't like taking that many trades, but if you guys want to, it's uh it's a possibility. All right, so we don't have the entry here until 721, guys. I think my statistics here are for 721. Okay, so let's just analyze this trade here real quick. So for 721, this is going to be against momentum. So what I'm looking for here, I mean, I can't really analyze it yet. It's a little too early. We have about 11 minutes till then. But what I'm looking for is basically here's the scenarios. Um, we currently have a sell signal here, right? And I'm looking for a sell. So what I would like to see here is I would like price to push up a bit higher, provide a buy signal, and then start to flatten out, right? Flatten out right here. Basically, if you're looking at the technicals, basically get stuck at resistance right there, right? Even though I'm not using technicals here, this is kind of what I'd like to see. I'd like price to make its way back up, flat line around here, and then turn back around. And then when it turns back around, I'll be looking to get my entry there to basically fill this area, right? Because we have a big range happening right here, right? So I want to fill this range if possible. That's kind of what I'm looking for. The reason why I'm looking for this pattern here to play out or just this kind of setup is because I'm looking for a sell. Right. The 721 entry, it's going to be against momentum. So I need it to go opposite of where momentum is pushing, which is basically it's indicating that a reversal is likely to happen. It has a 63.16% probability overall. So that's a 13.16 probability edge. For a 1 to 2 risk reward, it's my target entry. It has a win percentage of 66.67 for sells, and it's won 2 out of the 3 recent Fridays. So I'm looking for a sell here, obviously, right? Let me go and add up the probabilities real quick so that you guys have a better idea. So 63.16 plus 66.67. It's a 129.83 probability overall divided by 200. It gives me actually, so this here is like so I think this is the one that I was talking about earlier, Maria. I think Maria was asking about the 646, but this one was it's like really, really close. It's close to it. So I think this could be on the fence. The problem with this here is that they're both good though. So I mean the buy or the sell could work out, right? If you look at the buy here, it has a 60% probability. It won 6 out of the previous 10 entries. The sell over here is just a little bit higher. It won 6 out of the previous 9 entries. So still pretty good. Still pretty good overall. Um, yeah, it is. I mean, it's. I'm looking for a sell here, but if the buy comes up, I might be okay with looking for a buy. But again, I already made my decision from last night, so again, I'm not going to change my decision. I'm mainly looking for a sell. So what I'd like to see here, it's 7:13. We have about like maybe 6 or 7 minutes until 7:21. I want price to push up again, flatten out somewhere, and then come back down. That's the scenario I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anything else. I'm not going to skew my direction because I'm starting to see that the buys here look good. I already made my decision last time going with the sells. So we'll see what happens here in a few, but we'll be waiting for it shortly. Let's see. Craig is asking, what car are you driving these days, bro? I knew it was the Porsche. Yeah, I'm still driving the Porsche. I kind of like, well, I'm gonna get a new car soon. I get a new car every basically 2 years or every year, basically. Every year, every 2 years, I try to get another car. I haven't been, I have a kid. I had my kid recently. I mean, you've seen it, right? So when you have a kid, your priorities change. It's not about getting the next fancy car. It's really just about it's really about stability, right? So where money's not a problem. Obviously, I've been doing good trading, so money's not a problem. But I just don't like feel a need to have anything crazy. But I am going to be getting a new car, not pretty soon, but probably by next year, because a lot of the money, uh, I basically what I did is I needed to when I started the hedge fund, a lot of the money went into the fund, of course, right? Because I need to float the company. I've been floating this company for the whole year basically, because I started the hedge fund last year, but then I had to stop in February. So basically the whole year I had to float this company and pay fees and all this stuff. for the testing and just a lot of fees that go into starting a new company, specifically a hedge fund that it's very cost heavy. So I basically had to float this company from February up until now. Um, the fund is back it up and running, so like we're generating money again through the company. So I was thinking about getting a car by the end of this year. I'm actually, yeah, Barack said Taycan to Cayenne. I wanted to get a Cayenne, a GTS, but now that the fund is doing so well, I'm actually looking to get a Urus. So I talked about getting a Urus a long time ago, and I just, like I said, I didn't really have an interest in getting cars for a while, because it was just about stability. Because my wife isn't working, she's probably not going to go back to work. Honestly, she sees how much money the fund's making, so she's not going to go back to work. If she does go back to work, it's for fun, just to hang out with her friends, because that's where her friends are. Um, Basically she go to work like once a day, once a week for like a couple hours to just hang out with her friends. Uh, but yeah, so like I said, it's all about stability, to the point where we don't have to worry about money. But yes, the next car is probably going to be a Urus. I've been getting emails. Let me see if I have one here. There's a specific spec I want. I want an all white Urus with a black with red interior. Let me see. I'm like following. Okay, let's see. I think it will show up over here if I pull this up. Yeah, so you guys can see I get emails from like pretty much every day. This is one that I'm looking at. I'm probably gonna get this one. I don't know if I'm gonna get it this year, but if it's probably gonna happen next year. So this one's the one that I'm looking at. It's a Urus S. Obviously, I would like Performante, but I don't need to go all crazy. So this is one that I'm looking at. That's probably gonna be, um, you know, that's probably gonna be the next car. But I'm keeping the Taycan, so I'm keeping the Porsche. The thing is, I lost hella value on the Porsche. I bought that Porsche for like 200,000, but this is the one that I'm looking at next. I like it has like the carbon fiber. It's a specific spec that I'm looking for. I know like some Irises have like silver right here, but I like the black. Lamborghini's in black right there. It has the the carbon fiber. It's like it's a really good spec. The thing when I buy cars is I typically like to get one that's like very specific to me. I'm not just going to buy a car just to buy it. I'm looking for a specific spec that lines up with what I'm looking for. So, yes, Craig, this is probably going to be the next car that's on the list. If I don't get it, well, I'm probably not going to get it at the end of this year. I'm probably going to get it sometime next year. I got to offset some taxes, of course, depending on how much money the hedge fund brings in, which we're anticipating to be a lot. I just need to offset some taxes. So, it's a business vehicle. As you guys know, it well, if you guys understand, so here's the thing. I always tell you guys this, like your main goal really is to make money first, right, guys? Make money, and then once you make money, understand the tax game, right? So for example, if my hedge fund makes 1 million next year, which is likely to make 1 million, um, then I'm gonna have a tax liability of like 500,000, right? So what do I do instead of paying taxes is I buy a business vehicle, right? This vehicle is like 244,000. Like my Porsche was like 200,000. I had a tax liability at the end of the year, and that's why I bought my car. Everything I do kind of has a reason behind it. I'm not throwing away money on stuff. I'm buying stuff to offset taxes usually. Um, Legally, of course, this stuff is all legal. Yeah, and then this year, because the fund just started, like this month, I don't have that many taxes to offset because sort of in a loss in a sense because I've been front loading this business for like the whole year without it being active and stuff like that. So yeah, Sam said you don't have a kid yet, it's a baby. Yeah. I mean, it's even worse as a baby. It's like every day we go to the store and we buy stuff for Alina. It's crazy. It's like babies are expensive. Very expensive. I feel like every week we have to buy her new clothes because she doesn't fit in them anymore. Daniel's asking, does Urus weigh 6,500? Yes. The Urus weighs over 6,500. Like it's kind of funny because my car too, like if you look at the like my financing on my car, it my car is obviously a sports car, my Porsche, but if you look at the actual like what it says on the contract, it says that it's a light truck, but it's not a truck, it's a car. It's because it's above 6,500 pounds. Like I basically spec'd it to where it had the heavier battery so that it would it would weigh the amount for me to get that 179 section 179 deduction for full write-off, the Trump tax basically. All right, guys. So I'm looking at the entry over here. Unfortunately, I don't know if this trade's going to come up for a sell. I mean, it might. We'll see if this. So here's the problem. Well, we got to see how this candle here closes. I mean, this could be an entry here for a sell. It just kind of depends on how this candle here closes specifically. So right here, guys, it is 7:20. We got 1 minute until this candle here closes. So just looking at the way that these candles here are closing, I got to make sure the momentum is coming down, right? I think the key thing here is to see how the momentum is coming down. So I'm basically gonna be looking, and this is gonna be a problem. If this short closes with the sell signal, I don't know if we're gonna have an entry here. We got 18 seconds left on this. Let's see. All right, so this trade might come up right here. All right, so I'm looking to see how this here ends up closing this candle. For one, I don't want it to close too big because, like I said, if it closes too big, like this is kind of too big of a candle right here. If it closes too big, it might retrace back. That's typically what happens if the candle's too big. And the problem is my stop loss is a little too tight. So if the candle is bigger than my stop here at 20, I'm probably not going to take this trade, and I'm probably just going to call it a week. I'm still in profit for the week, so it's not a bad week, and we're going to close out this month pretty strong. But it just kind of depends on how this candle is. See how this candle is too big? This candle is extremely large. So this is an outlier. If you measure this candle here, yeah, this candle is way too big, guys. If you guys want to take this trade, I would say take it at caution, like take it at your own risk, because this candle is like, if it's too big like this, it's probably going to have to retrace back a little bit. So unfortunately, I'm not taking this trade here. I was really hoping to take this trade here because I wanted to take one to just wrap up the week, but this is a 50-point candle. So just look at how the market reacts to this candle here. It's either going to push through or it's going to retrace it back up. And look at how it's retracing right now. Um, it doesn't look so hot because whenever you see a big candle like this, it usually retraces to the halfway mark and then it comes down. See that retracement? See, this would have stopped me out. Another good decision here to stay out of this position because, like I said, if this candle's too big, it's going to pull back, and my stop loss is just way too tight. It's 20 points. So I avoided this here. If you guys want to get in for a later entry, I mean, you could put a sell limit order right there and just catch it as it comes back down. But like I said, this candle here is just way too big. It was way too big and it retraced up. So whenever it traces back like this, there's going to be two different. Let me just move this over because I don't want this to be in the way. Okay, so what typically happens when you get a big candle like this, it either retraces to the halfway mark and then comes back down, or it retraces to the full candle and comes back down. So this here, I was hoping this candle was going to stay small like this one over here, but it didn't. It closed out like a 50-point candle. So with that being the case, there's two things that typically happen here. Price retraces up and comes back down, or price retraces to the entire candle and then comes back down, or price does a full-on reversal back up. Right? There's too many scenarios here. Like we don't want that many scenarios with this to happen. But I've seen this happen so many times, right? You've been trading with me for so long, guys. Whenever we see a big candle, that's usually considered a red flag in our opinion when we look at these types of trades. And with that being the case, this is not exactly the type of entry you want to get into. So I'm glad we sat out of this trade because I would have been kind of pissed if I took a loss to close out the week. Again, here are my statistics for the year, guys. You got to be smart, guys. You got to be smart with your trades. If you're not smart, you're not going to get the car that you want, right? You got to remember that. The goal here is not to identify winning trades. Here's the thing with trading, guys. You can get lucky, right? You can just throw a dart at the chart. If you want to take a buy or a sell anywhere, you can get lucky and win a trade. The real skill of trading is being able to identify when not to trade, right? When to sit out, when to skip a trade, etc. Because for example, here, like, yeah, this trade could have won, but this trade actually lost. And I already predicted this was going to happen. And this comes from experience, right? I've seen this happen where like candles are small, then you get a huge candle, and all of a sudden you get full on reversal because it fills that candle from earlier. Um, So, going back to what I was just saying, like the real skill with trading, guys, is understanding when to sit out and when to just wait, right? Because you guys gotta remember that trading is a marathon. It's not a race. Like it's not a race to who's gonna make the most profits in one day or who's gonna make the most profits for the week or for the month or whatever. It's really identifying when to sit out and when to be conservative. So, for example, here, look at my trading month. We had a great trading month, guys. We've only had three red days this entire month, right? I saw a lot of people like not in our group, but I follow other groups as well, and I'm in connection with other community owners, and they're not all doing super great. I mean, we've found our consistency here where like we're able to skip certain trades. Like for example, we didn't take a lot of trades here on Mondays, and we typically don't take a lot of trades here on Fridays. This isn't by coincidence, right? This is because the market typically sucks on Mondays and Fridays. Um, but yeah, here are my overall stats. We close every week with green here, as you guys can see. So I took one win, one loss this week, a total profit of 12,640. Overall, I'm up 414,840 for the month, and then for the year so far, I'm currently up 1.38 million. So 1,038,120 for let's just change this to year to date. Yeah, so year to date right here, you guys can see my profits and whatnot. And this is all because I'm able to sit out the market, right? I'm not like the thing with this trade here is either way, this trade would not have met my criteria. So I was able to skip out on it, but this is the reason why I'm able to find this consistency, right? I'm not necessarily coming down sharply at all. Like you'll see my losses. I have drawdown sometimes, but it's not like super crazy. Like September was a pretty bad month, but it wasn't enough to knock me out of the game. It basically just some losses there, and I recovered the month after. But yeah, anyways, here are the stats for the algo, guys. We have a full month trading of the algo so far. So we had this day on the 29th and the 30th. Let's do the math here to see the win percentage with green days and red days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 divided by 17 total trading days. So we basically have a winning day percentage of 82.3% or 82.4%. That's pretty good, right? It's pretty good for the algo. Um, I'm excited to see where the algo is going to take us for the next month because this is the most profit I've seen in one month in like ever. We compare this to January, $72,000 month compared to this month, $400,000 month. You can see we still did pretty good in January, but there was more losing days here because we got into a couple bad trades. But overall in October, this is like if we can do this every single month, November, December, January, February, March, whatever, April, I mean, this is gonna be pretty massive. Because at this point, we're just gonna continue scaling, right? We make a lot of profit October, we scale up in November, scale up in December, scale up in mid-January, etc. And the profits just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, it's 7:28 right now. We still have about 30 minutes till 8 o'clock. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat and we'll see what else we got here to cover before we log off for the week. Let's see, Masij is asking, how many hedge clients do you have as of now? I think we're currently at about 50 right now, Masij. So we're currently at about 50. We still have a pretty like a consistent pipeline of clients coming in. So I think by today, maybe five more clients coming in. So that's going to be about 55 clients. I think by like early next month, we'll be closer to 70. And then by the end of the year, we'll be at closer to 100. So that's great news for me, right? Because every time we get a new client, it's basically another thousand, like basically like I would say like the value per client for the hedge fund, because people pay a management fee or they pay whatever percentage, it basically goes up like 1,000. So like hopefully by next year, it'll be like the fund will be generating like, over 100,000 a month, which is great because a lot of that money goes back into my trading account. So basically, this is the way that it works because I'm not charging percentages for everybody, so it's kind of hard for me to like kind of recoup my my It's hard for me to scale up the fund because I'm doing it for so cheap. Like the fund right now is extremely cheap, right? Imagine you pay $300 for a month of my trading, and we win X amount of trades, right? So let's just do the math over here real quick. So like if you traded for 1 month and we had one, two, I think we said 14 trades, right? 14 trading days. So 14 trading days times, we'll just say 2R, like for example, if we took one trade per day, that's 28R, right? So if you did just the bare minimum one contract, so like 200 times 28, basically you'd be up 5,600 for the month of October. That's including the losses. And then you only paid 300 for the management fee. Like, bro, you take home 5,300 to do nothing. Like, if you're in the hedge fund and you went one contract and you went for the whole month of October, you would have made 5,300 and you paid 300 in management fee and you keep the rest of the profit. That's a pretty good exchange, right? 300 to make 5,300. I mean, it's a no-brainer for a lot of people. That's why like it's easy for people to sign up for the hedge fund because and then this is only one contract. Imagine if you did more contracts. Like this is just one. If you did two contracts, you double up on that. That's 10,000 for the month for paying 600 to do nothing. All you do is just wake up in the morning and look at how much profit Sean made you on your Ninja Trader. Um, so again, if you guys are new here and you guys want me to trade for you, like if you guys don't want to trade, if you guys want to just hang out and watch the live session and see the trades I take, just go to the website. Again, it's CodyKaiCapital.com. Click on this form right here where this button says interested in investing. This form will come up. I'm going to send your information to the regulators. The regulators are going to give me an okay if I can trade your account if they say it's okay. The only thing that will probably come up as a red flag is if you have a felony, right? Usually, if you have a felony, you can't really trade. Or if you have a finance type of issue, like if you're in a lawsuit, a finance issue or embezzlement or something like that, then you probably can't trade. So they're going to be like, oh, this guy has a record. You can't trade for him. But usually, if you're just a normal person, they'll be like, okay, whatever, you can trade. And then from there, I'll send you the directions to sign up through NinjaTrader. And then you give me the account, I log into it, I trade, etc. And then you pay your management fee or you do a split at the end of the month. So like what happens is people pay their management fee. I transfer those management fees over to my personal account, and then from there I scale up so I can make more profit taking my own trades. Because obviously I'm going to bet on myself, right? I'm taking the same trades you guys are. So if the trades are winning, like the only thing that would make sense is for me to build up my contract size, right? Just keep adding more size to my account, and then from there I make more profit for myself. So. Yeah, if you guys are interested in that, I mean, feel free. The fund is going to keep growing, guys. Once it reaches certain thresholds, the fees are going to go higher for new clients. If you guys get into the fund right now, you lock in that current rate. So like the 300 is extremely cheap. I did the math for you guys. 300 to make 5,000, I would take that any day. Um, but another thing to keep in mind, guys, is that not every month is going to be the same, right? I don't know if October is going to be an outlier. Like we don't know if November is going to be like this. I think it's going to be pretty decent. It might not be like as crazy as October, we take this many trades, but I think it's still going to be pretty good. The reason why I say that for November is because November is a holiday month, right? We have Thanksgiving. So there's going to be like a whole week with no trading, basically. We got Thanksgiving, Black Friday, whatever it may be. I don't know if there's any other holidays, but basically November, there's like 3 or 4 holidays. So it's going to be a short week. So it's probably going to be less trades. Let me scroll down over here real quick. So Masij in my program identified 921 long momentum, doesn't matter, took it at the bottom and just got full TP. Nice. Okay, so Masij actually took it long. Perfect. And he rode that to the upside. Or yeah, so that actually lines up, Masij. It was a long right there because it was against momentum, right? So this trade over here was yeah, pretty much shot up like we were looking for. Gotcha. Okay, because you have a little more criteria there. iPhone said two more months left to smash it and get a year. That's the plan. Justice said thanks for these sessions. Ready to lock in my Lambo. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys are doing pretty good. I mean, overall. Emily said thanks, Sean, and everyone for the week. Have a great weekend. All right, Emily, we'll see you here on Monday. Happy Halloween to you guys if you guys are logging off right now. It's 7:34 right now, so I can still answer questions. If there's questions that you guys have, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I don't need to rush off today because we're still pretty early. I don't really see any entries right now, so I'm just kind of hanging out for a bit until we honestly, the thing there's no need for any entries here anyways. If you guys can see the market, it's not really going anywhere, right? We're in consolidation right here. And there's no entries to take anyways. All right, Masij said, have a great weekend, guys. Won't be in on Monday or Tuesday, but we'll be here on Wednesday. All right, Masij, we'll see you back here on Wednesday then. Have a great weekend. Rev said, gonna go take my Toyota to breakfast. Have a great weekend, y'all. All right, Rev, we'll see you back here on Monday. Have a good one. Rashida said, will the fee ever go up from 300 for those of you who locked it in? No. So if you get in right now, so here's the thing. The people who are investing in the hedge fund right now, as a token of loyalty for you to, invest in the fund at such an early stage, um, you're going to lock in that rate. So if you lock in the rate like right now, 300, then you're perfectly fine. The only way that it'll change is if you stop, right? So say for example, you started in October and then for whatever reason you wanted to take a break in December, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to stop the hedge fund. I need the money or whatever. If you stop in December and you start back in January, then yeah, you're going to have to get kicked up to the new rate. But if you stay a client from now until, future time, you basically lock in that rate. That rate's just really cheap right now because the thing is I'm kind of taking a cut by giving people that rate because it equals to like, here, let's just do the math real quick. So let's do 300 divided by 5,600, right? So you're basically the profit split is basically 5%, right? So basically I'm getting 5% of your profits for the month and you're keeping 95% of it. So the profit split's extremely wide. That's why it's like dirt cheap right now if you get in. If you get in, it's going to be usually less than a 10% split. If you go for the profit split at the end of the month, it's going to be 50-50, right? So would you rather pay 300 or would you rather pay 2,800 for the split? So that's why it makes more sense to do the management fee versus the profit split. Because the thing is, if you've been following me, or I mean, if you guys look at the data here, you're going to make your money's worth if you just pay up front versus waiting for the split at the end of the month. The crazy thing is I try to explain that to people because I'm looking out for the person, but some people just want to still do the profit split. Like there's this guy and I'm not going to name him because I know he's going to feel he's going to see what I'm trying to explain to him. I keep telling him because he's going in with a big amount, and I'm like, he's like, what do you think makes more sense? And I said, management fee because you're going to pay less at the end of the month. And he's like, no, let's do the 50-50. This guy's up like almost 20,000 for the month because he's doing 10 contracts. Let me just do the math real quick. So what was it again? Okay, so 10 times 5 times uh 40 or no 20. So that times 28. Okay, so this guy's up 28,000. I'm obviously came in with a big amount. He went in with 28,000 for the month. So if he just paid the management fee, he would have paid 3,000, right? But because he wanted to do the 50-50 split for whatever reason, I don't know, I guess he just didn't trust that I was going to be profitable for October. Now he owes me 14,000. He could have just paid 3,000 up front, but now he's paying 14,000 for the fund for the management fee. I'm like, man, I try to explain it to you so many times, but I mean, it is what it is, right? If like I'm looking out for you guys, I'm not trying to pull a quick one on you guys because obviously I want you guys to be my client long term. But yeah, you have a choice, either management fee or profit split at the end of the month. Usually hedge funds they combine it. Like you pay a management fee of like 1% and then you pay an incentive performance fee. For me, I'm giving the option, one or the other. So just keep that in mind, guys, when you guys are signing up for the fund. I'm always going to point you guys towards the management fee because that's going to be, you're going to keep more money that way. My goal is to make you guys consistent profit every single month. So you guys can see here how October was. My goal is to do something like basically repeat this process for November, for December, for January, because I want you guys to make as much profit as possible because that's kind of my marketing, right? This business is run through referral system. So like basically if you do well, you're probably going to tell your friends and family about my fund and they're going to want to get into it as well, right? I don't do any like digital marketing or advertisement or any of that stuff. It's everything, but everyone who's in the fund, they're all connected somehow. Everyone who's a hedge fund client, they're either a friend or a family member to someone else who's already in the fund because they've made a lot of money with me and they're like, okay, I'm going to tell my friends and family to also do it. But all right. See, Rashida said my three friends are about to fill out the form. Yeah, perfect, Rashida. That's great. That's great. I mean, the thing is like the minimum. So the question that I get a lot is what's the minimum to start? You just need to cover the broker margin, which is going to be about 10,000. So you need about 10,000 to float in the account. You're not going to risk that much though. If you want to do one contract, that's a $100 risk per trade. So you can risk as little as $100 per trade, and you can risk as high as you like. There's some people who are doing 15 contracts, some people are doing 20 contracts, some people are doing 25 contracts. It's just up to your preference. But yeah, you just need enough money to cover the broker margin. We're using a regulated broker, so you can't come in with like $100 and then try to risk it all. You have to have enough to cover any possibility of a margin call, which we'll never get to that, right? We'll probably never get to a margin call because the risk isn't that high. Rev said, should we wait until you go to the new brokerage rather than loading Ninja then move it? It's really up to preference, Rev. Either way, or yeah, so you know what? I'm actually going to start onboarding to the new brokerage. If you guys are interested, I'm probably going to send you guys to the new brokerage, and I'm probably not going to be able to trade on your account until that gets sorted out. It's going to take probably a week's time because we're already onboarding people to the new brokerage, actually. I think we have the first person onboarding to the new brokerage today, Evie. I don't know if you're on here, Evie, but yeah, we're going to be onboarding you with the institutional broker StoneX. So if you guys are a hedge fund client or if you guys are going to start to be a hedge fund client, I'm going to send an introduction email between you and the institutional broker. This is the broker we're going to be using. It's called StoneX. This is one of the biggest FCM brokers, non-bank FCM brokers. So we'll be trading institutional. We're not really going to be on the retail side anymore. NinjaTrader is a good platform if you're a retail trader, but StoneX is like it's like the gold standard for like institutional traders. So you can see over here, this is clearing and execution services for institutional futures and options, which is nice. We're going to be trading on the institutional side, which is cool because we can do block orders. So like when I put in orders, we're all going to be dropping into like we're going to put a fat order in the market, like a big 1,000 contract order versus like a bunch of people dropping like one contract, three contracts, five contracts, stuff like that. Rashida's asking what copier will you be using now with StoneX? It's all built in, so there's no copier with StoneX, Rashida. Like we're putting like a big order and it's institutional. It's not there's no copier. It's just we're all in one basically it's like one big account. So here's how it works. If you're using a copier, right? If you're using a copier, this is like account one, account two. Count three. And you guys know how a copy works, right? I'm just gonna put five accounts here to kind of show you how this works. So like basically if you're gonna put an order here, like basically every account is like, and I'll just put this up here, one contract, or just put one C. Everyone's they have their settings, right? And you kind of just put whatever contract you want there. 5C, whatever, maybe. I'll just I'm gonna copy this. Oops. So the way that this works, if you're using a copier system, this is kind of how it would work, right? You just kind of put in your order and then they all kind of come in separately. With the institutional broker, instead of like everyone's gonna have a list of like how many contracts they want, but they all get put in as one big order. So like one, two, let's say like 1, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 right there, right? With the institutional broker, goes in as one big 10 contract trade. So what happens here, it goes in as one big contract trade, and then at the end, once we get out of the position, the profits get distributed to all the accounts. So like everybody gets equal like it's an average of like the entry cost or the entry price and exit. So this is kind of how it works. Instead of doing a copier where everybody enters separately and everybody gets in at a different price, through the institutional broker, we go in as one big trade, right? Like just one huge contract or one big order that comes in, it fills it or whatever, and then at the end, I get all the profits and then it gets distributed to each person, like depending on how much you guys are risking. That's um that's how it would work. So yeah, if you guys are new, I think everybody from today and on, you guys are gonna get onboarded to StoneX, and then we're gonna slowly transition everybody over that's already on NinjaTrader. Because the thing with that is we have to it's a little it's not complicated, but it's just a it's there's a loop there's loops and stuff we have to go through to transfer your entire account. Also, if you guys are interested, if you guys have an IRA account or an investment account 401k, if you want to put that 401k into the hedge fund, we can transition that as well. We can transition your IRA from whatever broker you're at, Schwab, uh, Vanguard, whatever it is, and we can move that over to the hedge fund. So if you have money saved up in a investment account, we can transfer that over to StoneX because StoneX can pretty much take funds from anywhere really. They're an institutional broker. So just a heads up for those of you who are interested. I'll probably start onboarding people into StoneX versus versus NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader is good if you're just a retail trader and you're trading with prop firms. Um, NinjaTrader is great, but if you're trading like 100 accounts like I am, you know, you can't really do that with NinjaTrader. They don't have like hedge fund services because they're more focused on just the retail trader versus, hedge funds and CTAs like myself. But all right, guys, I think that might be it. I don't see any questions here. If you guys have any questions, again, feel free to hop into the chat. But if there's no questions here, we might be wrapping this up pretty soon. Yeah, we just don't really have much here. Um, to look at. Unfortunately, I was looking to get into one trade today, but we just didn't have that criteria for today. Let's see, 646. Let me just look. I'll run through this very, very quickly. We'll just see if there's any entries here. I'm pretty sure there's not because I did the math. I did the numbers already. So let's see. This is going to give you guys a quick. I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of how I identify entries. All right, so this is how I get my list of trades. I'm literally going to show you how I'm going to go from 6:48 until or 7:48 until 8 o'clock. So this is how I'm able to identify entries. And you're going to see it's very quick. It doesn't take me that much time to identify these entries. Sorry, the main thing I look at is going to be right here initially. I'm going to look at the percentage overall. And then if it doesn't go above 50, I'm not even going to bother looking at it. So right now it's at 28. I go to against. It's at 28. Yeah, there's nothing here. 149. It's at 42. Not going to look at it. 21. Not going to look at it. Go to 50. 35. Not going to look at it. 42. 51. 42. 42. 35. 42. So you guys can see how quick this is, right? This is how I put up my list. It's not that difficult. Like once you have a system in place, like I need to have 50 there. If there's no 50, I'm not even gonna bother looking at it. There's no point. It's 50 right there, but I can already average it out. 50 plus 55, it's not gonna make up to 65. Average out. 21, so I'm skipping those there. Is that 14%, 50%, 80%? Okay, so this one over here might be one. Let's see, 50 plus 80 divided by 200. There's actually an entry right here that I missed on. I mean, it was like right on the dot though. It's at 9:55 with momentum. It's weird. Oh, okay, never mind. I take that back. It's because the data here is off. Sorry, guys. I'm pretty sure I didn't miss that. Okay, never mind. I take that back. There's no entry there. I forget when I put the indicator back on, it kind of screws with the numbers. There's no way I missed that trade. I never miss a trade. 56. See right there, it's not at 50, so does not meet my criteria. 36, 31, 36, 42, and then one last one here. So you guys see how I did that? I did that really quickly. Within like 2 minutes, I pretty much looked at all the entries between 7:48 and 8 o'clock. And you can see here that there's no entries. So like it doesn't take much time. If you guys get a system in place, you can really find these entries very quickly. For some people, it takes longer. For some people, it's very quick. It just depends on your system. Everybody has a different system when they look up the entries, but I pretty much just went through that pretty quickly. Oh, here, Brock. Let me send you the website. It's CodyKaiCapital.com. So it's the same thing as before. It's just Cody Kai Capital. Let's see. Jonathan's asking, can you check for 1034? Okay, 1034. Let's do that. 1034, it's at a 42% probability, so it doesn't meet my criteria. It has to be above 50 at least to even like for me to look at it. Okay, so right here, this is against momentum. It's 52.63 plus 66.67. It's 119.3 divided by 200. It does not meet the criteria right there, Jonathan. It's at 59.7. It's close, almost at 60, but it's not there. It doesn't meet my criteria. If you want to take it though, I mean, everybody's statistics are different, right? If you're okay with the low probability trade, I mean, you can still take it. There's still edge there. The edge is about 9.7%. So 9.7% edge for a sell. Michael's asking, is the hedge fund setup with Stone X more involved or fairly easy? It's um It's pretty easy. It's just they're going to ask you a little more questions because they're an institutional broker. So it's the same way. It's just they're going to ask you probably a little more detailed questions like if you or any family member is like, or maybe it's just me because I did the onboarding process myself. I had to answer a lot more questions because I'm registered with the NFA. So I'm a member of the National Futures Association. I'm also a member of the CFTC, which is the governing organization. So for me, it asked me a couple more questions. If you're just a regular trader, I don't think they're going to ask you so many questions or ask you for documentation. So it's for the most part very similar process. Yes, Brock, that's the website. It is a yeah, that's the website, CodyKaiCapital.com. If you get an error, just make sure you have the www before it. I need to fix this. There's like a backend issue. Maybe there's something you can help with a lot because you have a background in this stuff. So I think if you don't put, let me see, because yeah, if you don't put a www before it, I think there's an error. I get a 404 error. No, I mean it automatically puts the www. But if you try to go in without the www, it for some reason it gives a some type of 404 error, connection error. I'll have to figure out how to fix that. Jonathan said 9:34 my time. Okay, if it's 9:34 my time, then it would be 11. I'm a 2 hour difference. So against momentum is a 36% probability, no entry there. Yeah, no entry. With momentum, it's at 21%, and at with against, it is still at 36.84. Yeah, because I'm on a 2 hour differential. So if it's nine something my time, it would be yeah, it'd be ahead by two. So no entry there, Jonathan, from the data that I saw. Ark said, "Hey Sean, this morning I got confused because I heard sell on the breakout. However, I thought I heard buy on the algo, so I took the buy there. Is there a way there can be separated better? I had a lot of noise, so I probably heard wrong, but I got confused." I think you heard that properly. Yeah, the so the entry for today on the algo, it was for because it's against momentum. So at 6:30, or where is that? 6:30. Yeah, so for 6:30 over here, it was a buy, but then for the regular breakout, it was a sell. So they let me read your thing there. Yeah, it was a sell for the you got that right, Ark. It was a sell for the I guess you got to get on a little earlier to just and be able to pay attention to it. 'Cause it depends on which one you want to take because they're going to be different sometimes. Depending if you want to take the one with momentum or against it, they're just two different entries. If you're taking the breakout on open, it's always going to be with momentum, but the algo is going to give you an opposite one sometimes. So you did hear it right. Um, yeah, you took the buy, which the buy worked, right? I think it did. Yeah. I would probably just go with the algo entry, Art. So like whatever the algo is, I'd go with the algo instead of the regular breakout on open because that one has a higher probability of it winning and it updates with the market. Oh gosh, okay, yeah. So Barack says when you put the HTTPS in, it gives an error. I was trying to pull up the error, but I didn't. It doesn't show up on mine. Let's see. Let's take off the www. I think this is where I get the error. Yeah. So I don't know if you know how to fix this a lot. I know you have kind of like an IT background, so maybe you know how to fix this. I could always chat GPT it, but yeah, I guess I gotta configure the root because when you don't put the root for www, it doesn't come up. Yeah, I'll figure it out. It's just something that we noticed. Barack said, "Indeed, he makes us prosper. Grateful for you, Sean, for always showing up and helping us out. Blessings upon blessings." Yeah, definitely, Barack. I'm always here to help. Let's see. Jonathan said, "Never mind. It was 8:34, but thank you. I'm gonna check more entries for gold this weekend. Have a good weekend." All right, Jonathan. We'll see you back here on Monday. Yeah. If you guys want to check the algo on different assets, I've seen a lot of people killing it on gold, GC, and also on ES. I haven't seen too many people talk about NQ very much because it's too erratic and volatility is all over the place. But with ES and for gold, a lot of people have been doing really, really well. So just something to look at. And Brock's gonna look at gold as well. Um, But all right, guys, I think it's it. It's about to be 8 o'clock. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Looks like all you guys are done for the day. So, all right, guys, happy Halloween, everybody. Today is Halloween, so be safe out there if you guys are going to be out. I will be giving out candy at my house, and it's kind of cool. The neighborhood I live in, they all kind of do stuff together. So we're gonna have like a fireplace out in the front, and then we're just gonna be hanging out and giving out candy. But yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, have a great weekend, guys. We had a pretty good week. Again, these are my stats for the week. I took only one loss, one win for this week. I'm up 12,640, not a lot, but I'll take the profit for this week. For the month, I'm up 414,840, and for the year so far, I'm currently up 1,030,495. So not bad. And we got another 2 months coming, so we'll see how this algo plays through for the month of October. So, all right, guys, that's it. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys.